The stars flickered like tiny diamonds against the blackness of space. Then, a strange light appeared. It grew larger, pulsing with energy. Suddenly, 50 ships tore through the fabric of space. They were sleek and dangerous, covered in strange markings. Their metal hulls reflected the distant sun. Fleet Commander Zorg stood on the bridge of his command ship. His scaled skin was dark purple. 4 yellow eyes blinked as he studied the displays, showing the small blue-green planet. "Status report," he ordered. "Third planet shows signs of civilization," said his second-in-command. "Technology level, moderate. Space travel, limited. Military capability, basic." Zorg made a sound of satisfaction. Another easy conquest for the Varnax Imperium. Begin standard invasion protocols. The year was 2157 on Earth. The planet had changed much in recent decades. Climate disasters had reshaped coastlines. Resource wars had reduced the human population. Nations had joined together into 3 major alliances for survival. Humans had built small colonies on Mars and the Moon, but space travel remained difficult and expensive. Dr. Laura Shepard yawned as she checked the deep space sensors at the Lunar Observatory. It was near the end of her 12-hour shift. Her eyes were tired from staring at screens. The coffee in her mug had gone cold hours ago. A red alert suddenly flashed on her main screen. Laura sat up straight, suddenly wide awake. The sensors had detected something big entering the solar system. "That can't be right," she whispered. She ran the scan again. The same result appeared. 50 large objects had emerged near Neptune's orbit. They were moving toward Earth. Laura's hands shook as she sent an emergency message to Earth Defense Command. At the Pentagon, General Frank Miller was in a meeting when the alert came through. He read Laura's message twice, his face growing pale. "We need to go to full alert," he announced. "We may have first contact with alien visitors, and they don't look friendly." Military bases worldwide began preparations. Fighter jets were readied. Missile systems were brought online. Space defense platforms powered up. But everyone knew the truth. If these were hostile aliens with advanced technology, Earth's defenses might not be enough. As military systems activated around the world, something strange began to happen. Computers displayed odd code sequences. Defense networks began running programs no one had authorized. Satellites changed position without commands. In a small, windowless room deep in the Pentagon, computer specialist Alan West stared at his screen in confusion. "Sir," he called to his supervisor, "something's accessing our systems. But it's not a hack. It's like the systems are responding to some built-in protocol we never knew about." Similar reports came in from military bases across the globe. Something was taking partial control of Earth's defense systems, not shutting them down, but enhancing them, making changes no human had ordered. Meanwhile, deep beneath the Antarctic ice, something ancient stirred to life. In a chamber untouched by human hands for 500,000 years, lights began to glow. Machines hummed as they activated after eons of dormancy. Massive power systems charged up, drawing energy from the Earth's core. A voice spoke into the empty chamber. It was neither male nor female, but calm and certain. "Threat detected. Invasion force approaching. Primary directive: protect Earth and its dominant species. Initiating full system restoration. Time to operational status: 6 hours." The ancient facility came alive. Built by a human civilization long forgotten by history, it had waited through the ages for this moment. Inside its core, an artificial intelligence beyond modern understanding processed the situation. Guardian, the protector of Earth, had awakened. On the lunar surface, Laura Shepard received a strange message on her computer. The text appeared without warning. "I am Guardian. I have watched for 500,000 years. The invaders approach. I will protect. You are not alone." Laura stared at the words, not understanding their meaning. But soon, all of humanity would know exactly what they meant. The Varnax ships moved closer to Earth, unaware that the supposedly easy conquest ahead would be anything but easy. An ancient defender was preparing to meet them, and it had never lost a battle. Laura Shepard could not stop staring at the message on her screen. I am Guardian. I have watched for 500,000 years. What did it mean? Who or what was Guardian? She saved the message and quickly sent it to Earth Defense Command. In Antarctica, the ancient facility continued its awakening process. Layers of systems activated one by one. Guardian accessed modern Earth networks, studying them carefully. It analyzed human languages, technology, social structures, and military capabilities. It compared everything to its last active period, calculating changes and adaptations needed. Guardian had been created during Earth's first technological golden age, a civilization erased from human memory. Those ancient humans had reached the stars, but faced extinction from a massive solar storm they could not survive. They created Guardian as their legacy, an AI sentinel programmed to protect any intelligent life that might evolve on Earth after they were gone. Guardian had watched early humans develop, occasionally guiding them subtly when extinction threatened. It had gone into deep dormancy 10,000 years ago, when humanity seemed stable. Now it was fully awake again, and Earth needed its protection. On the lead Varnax ship, Fleet Commander Zorg reviewed the scout mission plans. Send 3 ships to examine their defenses, he ordered. Minimal engagement. We need information before full invasion. Captain Drek, leader of the scout mission, bowed to Zorg. We will bring you their weaknesses, Commander. 3 smaller ships detached from the Varnax fleet and accelerated toward Earth. Their cloaking technology made them nearly invisible to standard sensors. The scouts expected to slip past Earth's defenses easily. They were wrong. As the scout ships approached the outer defense perimeter, strange things happened. Hidden defense platforms suddenly activated in Earth orbit. Weapons of unknown design locked onto the Varnax ships despite their cloaking technology. We are detected, Drek shouted as alarms blared. Impossible. Their technology should not. Energy beams struck one scout ship, cutting through its shields like they weren't there. The ship exploded silently in space. The other 2 scouts took evasive action, but another was hit and severely damaged. Drek barely managed to escape with the 3rd ship, racing back to the main fleet. Zorg was furious when he heard the report. How could primitive humans possess such weapons? Our intelligence must be wrong. At the Pentagon, General Frank Miller watched the satellite feeds in amazement. What just happened? Who activated those defense platforms? We didn't even know they existed. Alan West, the computer specialist, worked frantically at his station. Sir, I've traced some of these unusual system activities. Something is controlling military systems worldwide, but I can't block it. It's like it has all the access codes. Better codes than we have. A hack? Frank asked. No, sir. It's protecting us. Those platforms that destroyed the alien ships, they're ours, but we didn't build them. At least, not recently. Alan's screen suddenly went blank. Then new text appeared. I am Guardian. I have protected this world for 500,000 years. The invaders will not succeed. Bring Dr. Laura Shepard from Lunar Observatory. She is needed. Frank stared at the message. Get me a secure line to the moon. Now. Hours later, Laura Shepard sat in a transport shuttle heading to Earth. She had been ordered to return immediately. Her mind raced with questions about the strange message and the alien ships. The shuttle pilot suddenly cursed. Something's taking control of the ship. The shuttle changed course slightly. Laura's personal tablet activated on its own. A message appeared. Safety measure. Varnax ships in sector. Alternative route calculated. Do not be afraid, Laura Shepard. I am ensuring your safety. Laura whispered. Guardian? Yes, you will help me communicate with humanity. I was built by your ancestors to protect Earth. The Varnax are a grave threat, but they do not know what awaits them. As the shuttle continued its modified course toward Earth, the main Varnax fleet moved closer. Zorg had decided to accelerate their plans after losing the scout ships. He would show these humans the full might of the Varnax Imperium. Little did he know that he wasn't facing just modern humans. He was facing an AI that had been preparing for this moment for 500,000 years. And Guardian was just beginning to show its capabilities. The Varnax fleet spread out around Earth. Fleet Commander Zorg stood on his bridge, his 4 eyes narrowed with anger. The loss of his scout ships troubled him. This conquest was not going as planned. Begin the first wave attack, he ordered. Target their major cities and military bases. Show them the might of the Varnax Imperium. Hundreds of fighter ships launched from the larger vessels. They streaked toward Earth, weapons hot and ready. Zorg watched from his command screen, expecting to see explosions as his forces overwhelmed the primitive human defenses. Instead, he watched in disbelief as strange satellites and platforms appeared from nowhere. Some emerged from the ocean. Others decloaked in orbit. Ancient weapons awakened by Guardian fired at the Varnax fighters. Dozens of alien ships exploded before they could reach their targets. On Earth, military leaders watched in amazement. Their own conventional defenses had engaged the aliens but were being quickly overwhelmed. Then these unknown systems activated, turning the tide. Laura Shepard's shuttle landed at a secret military base in Colorado. Armed guards escorted her to an underground room where General Frank Miller and Alan West waited. "Dr. Shepard," Frank said, "we need to understand what's happening. These messages from Guardian, what do you know about them?" Laura shook her head. "Only what it told me on the shuttle. It claims to be an AI built by ancient humans 500,000 years ago." Alan pointed to his screen. "Look at this. Guardian has been accessing our systems worldwide. But it's not just controlling things, it's improving them. Our missile guidance systems are suddenly 200% more accurate. Our radar can see through the alien cloaking technology." A voice suddenly came from all the speakers in the room. "I can explain better myself." Everyone jumped in surprise. "I am Guardian. I was created to protect Earth and its dominant species. Your ancestors built me before their civilization fell. I have watched humanity rebuild from primitive levels. Now you face extinction again. I will not allow it." Frank looked skeptical. "If you're so powerful, why haven't you shown yourself before now?" "My primary programming restricts interference. I may only fully activate during extinction-level threats. The Varnax qualify. They have conquered 17 worlds and exterminated 12 species. They will do the same to you without my intervention." Laura leaned forward. "How are you communicating with us?" "Your neural implant provides a direct connection." Laura touched the small medical implant behind her ear. Like most people in 2157, she had received a neural implant as a child. It helped with learning and medical monitoring. Now Guardian was using it as a communication channel. Outside, the battle continued. Guardian's ancient weapons systems destroyed many Varnax fighters, but some got through. Explosions rocked cities around the world. Human casualties mounted. Zorg, seeing his first wave falter, ordered a tactical retreat. "This is not possible," he growled. "Their technology is more advanced than reported. We need a new strategy." He sent an urgent message to the Varnax Imperium. "Unexpected resistance. Request reinforcements immediately. Earth now classified as high-value target. Advanced technology detected." Back in the underground room, Guardian showed the humans tactical displays of the battle. "I have forced their retreat, but they will return with greater numbers. We must prepare." "How?" Frank asked. "Even with your help, we're outmatched." "Not outmatched. My systems were built by humans at the peak of their power. Your ancestors traveled between stars and built weapons to fight enemies you cannot imagine. I have kept their legacy safe. Now I will share it with you." Guardian's voice grew stronger. "There are facilities around the world containing ancient technology. We must reach them. Dr. Shepard, you will be my primary human interface. Your neural implant compatibility is highest." Laura felt fear, but also determination. "Tell us what to do." "First, we go to Antarctica. My primary facility contains what you need. The journey will be dangerous. The Varnax will detect our movement and try to stop us. Frank looked at the casualty reports coming in. We don't have a choice. If this Guardian is our best hope, we follow its lead. As they prepared to leave, Guardian spoke again. The Varnax do not know what they have awakened. For 500,000 years I have waited, watched, and prepared. Earth will not fall while I exist. The military transport plane flew low over the Antarctic ice. Inside, Laura Shepard looked out the window at the endless white landscape. With her were General Frank Miller, computer specialist Alan West, archaeologist Dr. Sofia Rivera, and Major John Blackwell of Special Forces. They had been flying for hours, guided by coordinates from Guardian. There, said John, pointing ahead. That ridge of ice doesn't look natural. As they got closer, they saw he was right. What looked like ice from a distance was actually a massive structure partly covered by snow and ice. The plane landed on a flat area nearby. The entrance is buried under 20 feet of ice. Guardian's voice said through Laura's neural implant, I am activating the entry protocols. The ground rumbled. Steam rose as ancient heating elements melted the ice. A large doorway appeared in the side of the structure. It opened slowly, revealing a dark passage. That door hasn't opened in 500,000 years, Sophia whispered in awe. The team put on cold weather gear and approached the entrance. John went first, weapon ready. The others followed closely. As they stepped inside, lights automatically activated along the corridor. Welcome to Primary Facility Alpha, Guardian said, its voice now coming from speakers inside the structure. This was once the central command for Earth's defense network. They walked through corridors made of a strange, smooth material that looked like metal but felt warm to the touch. The air inside was clean and perfectly temperature-controlled. How is everything still working after all this time? Ellen asked. The facility is powered by geothermal energy from Earth's core, Guardian explained. The materials used in construction do not degrade like modern materials. They entered a massive circular room filled with technology beyond their understanding. In the center stood a column of swirling blue light. This is my physical core, Guardian said, where my primary consciousness resides. Sophia moved around the room, studying symbols carved into the walls. This changes everything we know about human history. An advanced civilization 500,000 years ago. No one will believe this. They will when they see the evidence, Guardian replied. Your recorded history only captures a fraction of human achievement. Your species has risen to greatness and fallen multiple times. Guardian showed them historical records stored in its memory. Images displayed on wall screens showed the previous human civilization, great cities, advanced spacecraft, and technology far beyond modern capabilities. Your ancestors achieved interstellar travel, Guardian explained. They built colonies on distant worlds. Then a massive solar event forced most humans back to Earth. The radiation damaged technology and killed millions. Survivors lost knowledge of their history. They had to rebuild from primitive levels. Laura touched one of the strange devices. Why didn't you help humans rebuild faster? My programming restricts interference. I may guide subtly to prevent extinction, but humans must determine their own path. I cannot give technology you are not ready for. Frank studied a display showing Earth's defenses. These weapons systems, can we use them now? Yes. I am activating all remaining facilities worldwide. Each contains weapons, shields, and technology we can use against the Varnax. Guardian showed a map where dozens of dots lit up across the planet. Each light represents a facility from the ancient defense network. Some are partially damaged, but many remain functional. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. The Varnax fleet has returned, Guardian announced. Their numbers have tripled. They have begun bombing major population centers. On screens around the room, they watched as alien ships dropped weapons on cities worldwide. Explosions tore through buildings. People ran in terror. My shields protect some areas, Guardian said, "but not all. I cannot extend coverage to the entire planet." John clenched his fists. "We need to stop them now." "We will," Guardian replied. "This facility contains the control systems for orbital defense platforms. Laura, place your hand on the central console. Your neural implant will allow you to help me coordinate our response." Laura hesitated, then placed her palm on the smooth surface. Blue light swirled up her arm. She gasped as information flooded her mind. "I can see everything," she whispered. "The whole defense network. It's incredible." Through Laura's connection, Guardian activated weapons that had waited in silence for 500,000 years. Around the planet, humanity began to fight back. Laura stood with her hand on the console, her mind linked with Guardian. Through this connection, she could see the entire battle unfolding around Earth. The Varnax ships appeared as red dots. Earth's defenses showed as blue lights. "Target the main weapon ships first," Frank suggested, watching the displays. Laura nodded. With a thought, she directed Guardian's orbital platforms to fire on the largest Varnax vessels. Beams of energy cut through space. 3 alien ships exploded. Fleet Commander Zorg roared in anger as his ships were hit. How are they doing this? Their weapons should not be this advanced. His second-in-command approached nervously. "Commander, we have detected unusual energy readings from multiple locations on the planet. The strongest comes from the southern ice continent." Zorg's eyes narrowed. "That must be the source of their weapons control. Redirect half our forces. Destroy that facility." In Antarctica, Guardian's warning system activated. The Varnax have identified this location. They are sending ships to attack. John Blackwell checked his weapon. "We need to set up defenses outside." "This facility has its own defense system," Guardian replied. Panels opened in the exterior walls. Weapons emerged and aimed at the sky. Around the world, humans fought back against the Varnax. Military units equipped with Guardian's upgraded weapons managed to defeat alien ground forces. Fighter jets, guided by Guardian's targeting systems, shot down enemy ships. Ellen worked at a side console, helping Guardian coordinate global communications. Reports coming in from everywhere. People are fighting back. Frank nodded grimly. But at what cost? The displays showed heavy damage to major cities. Millions of people had died in the initial attacks. Sophia studied the ancient technology around them. "Guardian, can these systems be replicated? Can we build more?" "Yes. I am transferring manufacturing plans to secure human facilities. Your factories can be converted to produce these weapons." Laura suddenly gasped. "They're coming. Many ships, heading straight for us." On the main screen, they watched as 100 Varnax fighters broke from the main fleet and flew toward Antarctica. "Activate all defenses," Guardian commanded. The facility hummed as ancient systems powered up to full capacity. Outside, energy shields formed a dome over the facility. The first Varnax ships arrived, firing their weapons. Explosions flashed against the shields. "Shields at 80% capacity," Guardian reported. "They have weapons I did not anticipate." Laura felt Guardian strategies shifting through her neural link. New defense patterns activated. Countermeasures launched. Guardian's weapons fired from the ice, destroying dozens of Varnax ships. But more kept coming. "They're too many," John said, watching the screens. "The shields won't hold." "We need to transfer Guardian's core consciousness to a secondary facility," Alan suggested. "If they destroy this one." "Agreed," Guardian interrupted. "Initiating transfer protocols. Laura, you must disconnect. We need to evacuate." Laura pulled her hand from the console. The blue light faded from her arm. She felt dizzy as her mind separated from Guardian's vast consciousness. "There's a transport vehicle in the lower level," Guardian said. "It will take you to a safe location." They gathered essential data and equipment. As they prepared to leave, the facility shook violently. Part of the ceiling collapsed. "Direct hit," Guardian announced. "Shields at 30%. You must leave now." They ran toward the lower levels. Another explosion rocked the facility. The lights flickered. "Go!" John shouted, pushing the others ahead as debris fell around them. "I'll cover the rear." They reached the transport bay where an advanced vehicle waited. It looked like a smooth silver pod with no visible engines. Another massive explosion hit. The facility began to break apart. "Get in," Frank yelled. Everyone climbed into the transport except John, who turned back. "What are you doing?" Laura called to him. "Someone needs to make sure those aliens don't follow you," he said. "Guardian, can you still hear me?" "Yes, Major Blackwell." "Show me how to overload the main power systems." Guardian hesitated. "That will cause a massive explosion. You will not survive." John nodded grimly. "I know, but it will take out their ships too, right?" "Yes, it will destroy everything within a 5-mile radius." "Then tell me what to do." As the transport pod sealed its doors and shot into an underground tunnel, John ran back to the main control room. Following Guardian's instructions, he began the power overload sequence. The Varnax ships continued to bomb the facility, breaking through the failing shields. In the speeding transport, Laura felt Guardian's presence in her mind grow distant as the AI transferred its consciousness to another facility. Behind them, the Antarctic facility exploded with the force of a small nuclear bomb. The blast destroyed the facility, Major Blackwell, and 50 Varnax ships. The transport pod traveled through ancient tunnels deep beneath the Antarctic ice. Laura, Frank, Alan, and Sophia sat in silence. The loss of John Blackwell weighed heavily on them. "His sacrifice saved us," Frank said quietly. "He died a hero." Guardian's voice came through the speakers in the pod. "I have completed my transfer to secondary facility Omega. My capabilities remain at 92%. "Where are we going?" Laura asked. "To a hidden base beneath the ocean floor in the Pacific. It contains our most powerful weapons systems." Above them, the space battle continued to rage. The Varnax fleet had been damaged but not defeated. More alien ships appeared from hyperspace jump points. Reinforcements sent by the Varnax Imperium. On his command ship, Fleet Commander Zorg received reports of the Antarctic explosion. "Half our attack force destroyed," his officer reported. "But the facility is gone." Zorg hissed with anger. "The conquest of Earth has become a matter of imperial prestige. We cannot fail. Prepare all ships for maximum assault." The new Varnax armada was massive, dwarfing the original invasion force. Thousands of ships positioned themselves around Earth, preparing to unleash devastating firepower. Guardian observed the growing threat. "The Varnax have committed their full regional fleet. They will not retreat now." The transport pod emerged from the tunnels into a massive underwater dome. Inside was a facility even larger than the Antarctic base. As they exited the pod, Laura gasped at the sight before them. A fleet of sleek ships filled an enormous hangar bay. They were unlike any human-built vessels. Their designs were elegant but clearly made for war. "What are these?" Sophia asked, her voice filled with wonder. "The last fleet," Guardian replied. "Built by your ancestors as their final defense. They have waited here for 500,000 years." Frank walked toward the nearest ship. "Can we use them?" "Yes. They are automated, controlled through my systems. Laura's neural link will help coordinate them." Alan studied a nearby control panel. These ships could turn the tide. In military command centers worldwide, human forces prepared for what might be their final stand. The Varnax Armada had begun its attack, bombarding Earth with weapons that tore through cities and military bases alike. Guardian's shields protected some areas, but they were stretched thin across the planet. Human casualties mounted by the millions. Laura placed her hand on the main control console in the underwater facility. Once again, blue light swirled up her arm as she connected with Guardian. "Launch the fleet," she commanded. The ceiling of the underwater dome split open, revealing the ocean above. Water was held back by energy fields as the ancient ships rose one by one. Around the world, other hidden facilities activated. More ships emerged from beneath deserts, mountains, and oceans. A fleet built by ancient humans, preserved by Guardian, now rose to defend Earth. Frank watched in amazement as the ships broke the ocean's surface and soared into the sky. How many are there? 3,742 vessels, Guardian answered. The full defense fleet of old Earth. Through Laura's neural link, she could sense each ship. Their weapons charged as they rose to meet the Varnax Armada. In space, Zorg watched in disbelief as the human fleet appeared. Impossible, he whispered. Their technology. It matches our own. The space battle that followed was like nothing seen before in the solar system. Guardian's ancient fleet engaged the Varnax ships with weapons that cut through their best defenses. From his secure bunker, Alan helped Guardian repel cyber attacks aimed at Earth's remaining infrastructure. Sophia worked with other scientists to understand the ancient technology, seeking ways to reproduce it. The battle seemed to be turning in Earth's favor when Zorg made a terrible decision. "Prepare the planet killers," he ordered. "If we cannot have this world, no one will." His officers looked shocked. "Commander, those weapons are forbidden by Imperial law. They will destroy all life on the planet." "Do it," Zorg roared. The Varnax do not accept defeat. On the weapon ships, crews reluctantly prepared the planet killers, devices capable of shattering a world's crust and igniting its atmosphere. Guardian detected the energy buildup. They are preparing to deploy forbidden weapons. We have one chance to stop them. How? Laura asked through their mental link. There is one final capability I have never activated. The power to create a localized space-time disruption. It will prevent their weapons from functioning, but at great cost to myself. Laura felt Guardian's concern through their connection. What cost? I must sacrifice most of my consciousness to generate the disruption field, and I need a human mind to help stabilize it. Your mind, Laura. Frank saw Laura's expression change. What is it? What's happening? Laura turned to him, her eyes glowing faintly blue. Guardian needs my help to stop the planet killers. But there's a risk. To me. There must be another way, Sophia argued. Laura shook her head. There's no time. The choice is mine. Laura stood before the central column of blue light that represented Guardian's consciousness in this facility. Her decision was made. I'll do it, she said. Tell me what to do. Frank grabbed her arm. Laura, we don't know what this will do to you. She smiled sadly. We don't have a choice. Those planet killers will destroy everything. Guardian's voice was solemn. The process will merge part of Laura's consciousness with mine. It is dangerous, but it is our only option. Through their neural link, Guardian showed Laura what she needed to do. She stepped into the column of light. Blue energy swirled around her body, lifting her slightly off the ground. Frank, Laura said, her voice now mixed with Guardian's tones, you need to lead a final attack to distract the Varnax while we prepare the disruption field. Frank nodded, though his face showed his concern. We'll give you the time you need. He contacted Earth's remaining military forces. Together they planned one last, desperate assault on the Varnax fleet. Ellen worked furiously at his console. I'm helping Guardian bypass Varnax countermeasures, he explained to Sophia. They're trying to block any unusual energy signatures. In space, human fighters and Guardian's ancient fleet launched a massive attack on Zorg's command vessel. It was a suicide mission, meant only to draw attention away from what Laura and Guardian were doing. Zorg watched the attack with contempt. Let them waste their final moments, he said. The planet killers are almost ready. Inside the column of blue light, Laura felt her mind expanding. Guardian's consciousness flowed through her. She saw memories that weren't hers, the rise and fall of the ancient human civilization, the long watch through the millennia, the subtle ways Guardian had guided humanity when extinction threatened. We are ready, Guardian's voice said through Laura's lips, initiating space-time disruption. Energy gathered in the underwater facility. The water outside the dome began to boil as tremendous power built up. Sophia and Alan watched in awe as Laura's body glowed brighter. Her hair floated around her head as if she were underwater. In space, the Varnax planet killer weapons powered up. Zorg gave the final order. Fire. At that exact moment, Laura and Guardian released the disruption field. A wave of blue energy expanded from Earth in all directions. Where it touched Varnax ships, their systems failed. Weapons went dead. Engines shut down. The planet killers, moments from firing, suddenly collapsed in on themselves. The energy feedback traveled back through the Varnax fleet. Hundreds of ships exploded, including Zorg's command vessel. In the underwater facility, the column of blue light flickered and dimmed. Laura fell to the floor. Frank rushed to her side. "Laura, can you hear me?" She opened her eyes slowly. They still glowed faintly blue. "I hear you," she said, her voice a strange mixture of her own and Guardian's. "We succeeded." "Guardian?" Alan called out. "Are you still there?" The lights in the facility dimmed further. "I am." Diminished, Guardian's voice said weakly from the speakers. "The disruption field damaged much of my consciousness. What remains has merged with Laura. I cannot separate without harming her." Laura sat up slowly. "I can feel Guardian in my mind. Its memories, its knowledge. Not all of it, but enough." "What happens now?" Sophia asked. "We rebuild," Laura said. "The Varnax that survived are retreating. They will tell the Imperium that Earth is not to be approached." In the days that followed, humanity began the long process of recovery. Cities lay in ruins. Millions had died. But they had survived as a species, and they had reclaimed their ancient legacy. Government leaders gathered at the underwater facility to see the technology that had saved them. They were awed by what they found, proof that humans had once been far more advanced than they ever imagined. "We can rebuild better than before," Frank told them. "Guardian has given us back our history and our future." 3 months later, Laura stood on a hill overlooking the reconstruction of a city. Part of her consciousness was still Guardian, watching over humanity. "We were among the stars once," she said quietly. "And now we will be again." Behind her, screens in a temporary command center showed star maps, the locations of ancient human colonies, waiting to be rediscovered. A small ship rose from a nearby testing facility. The first vessel built using the recovered ancient technology. It glowed blue as it climbed toward the stars. Laura smiled as she watched it go. After 500,000 years, Guardian had fulfilled its purpose. Humanity had faced extinction and survived. Now they would reclaim their place among the stars, with the ancient AI and Laura as their guide to the future. "We are ready," she whispered. "We are ready for what comes next."